How's it going, chaps? Kat here from the Outer Circle, here with Macca, bringing you another episode of Is It Shit? First off, before we go any further, let's go for the trigger warning. If you are easily offended, please seek fucking help. The internet is not for you. Fucking communicating with other people is not for you. So go seek some fucking help, and then once that's all done, come back and watch the video. So we will be looking at Spartan assault tanks today. I remember I gave you one of these fucking things, Macca.
Yes, you did. I sold it to a wizard for some magic beans.
Self-proclaimed wizard. I believe he's yet to do any wizarding at the moment. Yeah, I got jack of it. Fuck it. They have a new model of it at Forge World at the moment. I went to a different world, aka Pirate Island, but
I believe that's in Hong Kong.
Yeah. So the tracks were actually detached from it in its first release, and because even with the Forge World ones, that there's such big pieces of resin, the sides, that it shrunk. So then you had to chop the tracks down and do all this other shit. Now they cast it with the tracks attached, and I actually have one of these for my Ultramarine army, and it was a hell of a lot easier to put together. I got jack of it and just gave it to Macca anyway. I was thought about getting out of the hobby, and I was just like, fuck this, whatever. It's a lot more easier to put together now anyway. One of the easier models, I reckon. So yeah. What do you reckon of it? Do you paint it up as a White Scars one? Because, whatever. But, yeah, what do you reckon of it?
I really like the Spartan as a model. I think it looks really cool. It has like this really cool, the peak on the prow looks kind of like a battering ram to me of sorts. So it looks like almost like it could breach a fortress. Like the Mastodon's meant to. Yeah, the quad las cannons on the sides are pretty cool. There's a few things about the rules that sort of irk me, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, design-wise, it's pretty flawless. The only thing that I find funny is the fact that size-wise, it's almost identical to a 40k Land Raider, because obviously the 30k like Proteus Land Raiders and Phobos, that kind of thing, whichever one's the Octagon one, is much smaller than this. Whereas the 40k size Mark III Land Raiders and the Mark IIBs are identical in size for the hull, with only a little part of the beak at the front being longer.
Yeah. So I'll just get into the rules now. So this thing is Ballistical 4, obviously, if you take it for Legions. It's armor 14 all around. It's got 5 hull points, whereas the Land Raider usually has 4. So this is coming at 5 hull points. It's a heavy support choice. It's not a super heavy, so it's got the most hull points compared to any other vehicle. For Legions, it has 2 sponsor-mounted quad cannons. They can be upgraded to laser destroyers. I don't think anyone's doing that though. I haven't seen it really, in my experience, because getting 4 las cannon shots still is better than 2 laser destroyer shots, right? So,
yeah, laser destroyers are fucking shit. They're less range, and all they're picking up for dropping half your shots is the ordnance special rule. So they're +1. You get to roll 2d6 and pick the highest one for your penetration rolls. But because they're ordnance, you need the machine spirit in order to fire the other gun. So to fire both the laser destroyers, you need the machine spirit, and you won't be able to fire any of the other weapons attached to the tank, which is a bit fucking retarded if you ask me.
Yeah, well, it comes standard with the machine spirit, so that's pretty cool. It's got smoke launchers, a searchlight, and it also has a hull-mounted heavy bolter. It also comes equipped with extra armor, straight up. So you're getting a fair amount of points. This thing's coming in at $295, or it might be even more expensive. This is the old book. I think it's coming in even more expensive. And then you've got the other upgrades. This baby can transport 25 models compared to the Land Raiders 10. So whatever.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Magical storage capacity. We're having a joke around before the episode. We both remember when the original Rhino and Land Raider models from Games Workshop got phased out and the new ones came in, which most people probably aren't familiar with. I don't know, how old are the people getting into this hobby now? Like 14? I don't know. You weren't even alive.
That's what Games Workshop would fucking have you believe. Your fucking target audience, you know, 8-year-olds, because, you know, that's where the fucking money's at, man.
Oh, man, 8-year-olds peddling meth make a lot of coins, so, you know, fuck you.
True.
Yeah, these things, when the plastic Rhino and Lamb Raider first got released, they were pretty tiny because early days of injection molded plastics at Games Workshop. Around the year 2000, they went to the Mark II Rhino, which is like your current Rhino in 40k and 30k, and the current Land Raider. And the current Land Raider and Rhino at the time, we were like, holy crap, these are so much bigger, you know, they could actually hold the amount of dudes. Of course they fucking can't, they're not scaled, but then you look at this thing and you're like, I don't know, fucking... Anyone who's a fan of like Rick and Morty, I think Rick's like the fucking portal gun. He's fired it into the fucking hull of this thing, and the Marines are hiding on the other side of the fucking portal, like a Necron fucking monolith, because there's no fucking way on Earth this thing can hold 25 models.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's like it is the clown car, 25 dudes. So what, I don't even know how the fuck you can get 25 dudes in there effectively. You could take a squad of 20 tactical Marines, attach an apothecary to them, and attach who else? A tech marine to them, and attach 3 HQs to them. There we go, 25 dudes.
Yeah, I got one of these, the one you gave me, and before I finished putting it together, I tried to see for a laugh how many Marines. I think I got a photo somewhere. I'll try and find it later. It might be on my old computer, but you know the old like one part Marines used to get in like the Salt and Black Reach 40k box sets. You got like the one part Marines with like the bolter across the chest.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, I tried putting those dudes in it. I think I got like 8 or 9 in. and those dudes are like as compact as Marines can get. They weren't on bases or anything even. They were straight off the sprue. And yeah, they I think I got 8 or 9 in before we ran out of space. Maybe I could have put in a few more, like laying on their sides or something.
Yeah, it isn't to scale, but you know, in the military, I'm pretty sure those guys get jerked around. So I even think in the M113s that they're pretty, with all the real world gear. Guys are pretty hard pressed to fit in there. So
I found a way to justify it to myself. I pretend they're Russian tanks because, you know, they're pretty much,
yeah, they're all hanging on the sides.
They're all hanging on the sides of the tank. They're like, yeah, fucking Indiana Jones is having a fist fight with a fucking Nazi on one track, and there's all fucking Marines holding onto rails around the tank. That's my justification anyway.
Well, going on with the rules here, the hull-mounted twin-linked heavy bolter can be upgraded to a twin-linked heavy flamer. Now, just to point on that, I've seen a lot of Blood Angels players replacing a lot of twin-linked heavy flamers for stuff. As far as I know, it's only individual flamers that can be upgraded to assault cannons until they bring out an FAQ, of course. I got no issue with it, really, but it's just the point.
I do, fuck them.
Look, you know, assault cannon, everything, the Blood Angels, whatever. I can't wait to make my Blood Angels army. So anyways, the Spartan can take any of the following. It can take a Hunter Killer Missile, Auxiliary Drive, Armored Ceramite, Flare Shield, Dowser Blade. I think you see a lot of these motherfuckers with Armored Ceramite. That is going to be, I think it's 25 points now. That's a must given. So your melter guns, melter weapons aren't doing 2d6 pen against it, which is great. And a Flared Shield rocks as well, making -1 to anything on its front arc. So anything it's getting shot by reduces it by 1 toughness, or 1 strength rather. So that puts it out to almost 370 points, I believe.
Yeah,
so you are paying for it, but it's not going to die too fast unless someone obviously chain fists it to question or something like that. And melter bombs are still getting 2d6 against the Ceramite. So just pointing that out for people. The Dowser Blade, there's some real good looking third-party Dowser Blades out there. I think John Sutton has one on his World Eaters.
Oh, he actually made his from scratch.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay, fuck. All right. Well, there's...
But yeah, Cromwell 2-part dozer blade is the one you want.
Yeah, it looks pretty. It looks pretty brutal. But you know, I just say I've got I don't know, fucking cruise control or some shit on my vehicle. It's hardwired. I think the Tau cunts would say that's hardwired. Don't worry about it. My Hunter Killer
No,
missile,
there's
also
two
hardwired.
pieces of shit Jube Marines, like 2 fucking new initiate Marines, had to walk out in front of the tank doing fucking the Irish fucking bomb detector test, so they just run around stomping to see if there's landmines in front of the tank. Just 2 poor shit cunts.
Fuck man. Well, anyway, it can take like the Rhino, it can take pintle-mounted weapons. So it can take pintle-mounted twin-link bolter or combi weapon, heavy flamer, havoc launcher, heavy bolter, or a multi-melter. And they all vary in different points. Multi-melter being 20 points, I believe, still, and the bolter being 5, and everything in between. It can also take frag assault launchers. Given in 30k, you can take a grenade harness for your fucking Terminators even. There's no real point in taking a fucking frag launcher most of the time. Oh, I love this thing. I'm going to straight up say this thing is not shit. I think it's pretty fairly priced. They have increased the points cost of it, but even still, it's still very worth taking. It's a great centerpiece to your army, and it's going to be a high value target if you have a Death Star. Obviously, it's one of the main things to carry around a Death Star. But I like to put a 10-man tactical squad in it, because then people like, oh, I don't need to really deal with that at the moment. It's still putting out 4 las cannon shots and a bunch of heavy bolter shots. So I love it. I'm going to say it's not shit. What are your thoughts on it, Macca? I'm guessing other than it needs to be about 2 times as big.
Look, I can live with the size. Like I said, I've justified it to myself. I just find it comical. It's the fucking clown car tank. Rules-wise, it's solid, a little too solid, which is why it got that points nerf in the latest, as I say, this monthly edition of the Red Book. Yeah, laser destroyers are terrible. Never take them. Heavy bolters are fine on the front. Twin-linked heavy flamer is also a pretty legit option, as said. It's pretty cool if you're Blood Angels, because you can put a pintle-mounted assault cannon on. Just give it a bit more DACA. The sad thing with this tank is, to me, it's the exact same chassis as the Typhon and the Cerberus, which are both super heavy tanks. And coupled with the transport capacity, I do think this should be a super heavy transport option. And if it was, we'd be seeing more Land Raiders in 30k, like the awesome Mark 1 Land Raiders, the little octagon ones. We'd be seeing way more of those if this was a super heavy transport. You'd get a lot more variety. Instead, the Spartan is sort of a no-brainer option, where a lot of people are taking like 2-3 of these in an army, and they're like, yeah man, the Forge World up the points, but even with the points on it, with the Red Book, the thing's still too fucking good. I've got to take that expensive flare shield. I've got to have the armored Ceramide. You know, they're sinking a lot of points in these, because these are Death Star delivery transports. You know, they're dedicated transports for Death Stars. You know, like I think Ty runs like squads of 20 World Eaters with chain axes and apothecaries in them. Fucking dudes like Danny run Death Guard Death Shroud with fucking Mortarian in it, which is ridiculously broken and brutal, because Danny's ridiculously broken and brutal. He does shit like, you know, they hop out 6 inches, then Mortarian does his fucking Nightcrawler phase shift 12 inches, and then so like he can do like first turn alpha charges with a fucking Primarch. It's fucking devastating. Yeah, I don't know. Should be a super heavy transport in my books. Plus, it's also fast. It's got like auxiliary drives as well, and yeah, man, it's the superior tank in every fucking way to pretty much every other tank in 30k. Cat.
Yep, that pretty much wraps it up. So yeah, like and share this video if you agree with what I said, with what we said, or whatever. And if you do, you'll receive 1 free Spartan in the mail. No scam. But seriously, thanks for the support, guys. And let us know what you think about the Spartan. Do you have any? I have 1, and I have plans to get more. So yeah, thanks, guys. We'll catch you later.
Oh, one last thing before we go, guys. With the image that I have up, I'm just going to quickly point out, this is the old school tracks, and we were talking before about they were terrible. I'm going to, every time I see a bad point in the track, I'm going to put it in the middle of the screen. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, look at that. That massive double track link down the bottom where they've cut a track in half to try and make it blend. So yeah, when people complain about Spartan tracks, they weren't lying. This track has like 4 obvious joints in it at least, and it's been cut down a few times. So people are offering recasts of this for, sorry, not recasts, if they're offering old versions of this tank for cheap on buy swap sales, just be careful that, you know, it's got the new type tracks, because these old tracks were just terrible and you really want to avoid them even if they're being sold cheap. They want to be very fucking dirt cheap if you're going to be taking them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, on that, I'd say that it should be wary of buying this. Yeah, the old tracks should be should be worth less than the new one with the tracks attached, because it's going to cut off a lot of time in preparation, cleaning. So yeah, that, be wary of that, and because people will be trying to sell these for, you know, 150. I think someone's trying to sell one for $200 or something like that as a recast, and they're usually about $100. So, you know, be wary of that, and yeah, be wary of scammers.
Yep. See you next time, guys.